Thank you. My name is Spike Cohen. I was the 2020 Libertarian Vice Presidential candidate in the last election. I actually came here to speak about your proposed Sanctuary of the Unborn bill. I'm not actually here. I think there are going to be others that are going to talk about the abortion aspect of this. I'm actually not going to debate that part. I personally consider myself to be pro-life. I think that abortions are more often than not a gruesome and regrettable thing. And I hope that we can look at the conditions that cause a lot of people to get abortions and address those rather than try to use the law as punishment. But the thing is, this bill doesn't actually do anything about abortion. There are no abortion clinics in this county, which means if someone got an abortion right now, it would already be illegal. There are no legal abortion clinics in this county. And if someone in this county got an abortion somewhere else, they're not under your jurisdiction, which means that also wouldn't be covered under this. This actually uses the pretext of abortion to create a new enforcement mechanism for government to use. And we have plenty of history of that. The Patriot Act was originally written in order to go after the 9/11 hijackers and Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups, and now it's being used to spy on every single electronic communication that any of us do. And also, it's now most recently being used to go after parents who are going to their school board meetings to talk about things. This uses the pretext of abortion to create a new enforcement mechanism that instead of using the criminal justice system and the due process and high burden for evidence that comes with that, and instead uses the civil mechanism for that, the incentivizing your constituents essentially to snitch on one another using the civil court system and incentivizing them with a reward of at least $10,000 and attorney's fees, if they include an attorney. Under a civil court system, or at least under the system that would be created by this bill, the defendant is guilty until proven innocent, because it's actually inherent upon them to prove that what they are doing falls under the undue burden guideline, which defined in this would be the threat to the life of the mother. So you already have them guilty until proving themselves innocent. And then because it's a civil court instead of a criminal court, the threshold is not beyond a reasonable doubt. The threshold is the preponderance of the evidence. The thing is, this is all supposedly to sidestep the courts, and the bill doesn't actually claim to challenge the constitutionality of abortion. It claims that it doesn't matter if it's constitutional or not because you're using the civil courts instead of the criminal courts. Now, more than likely, this would get struck down. I think we'd all hope it gets struck down, because if it doesn't get struck down, if you don't end up wasting a bunch of money, you will instead be wasting a constitutional republic, because it won't end with abortion. Once government has the ability to simply use the civil system, the snitching system, instead of a criminal system, it doesn't matter what is actually being enforced. They can say that all guns are illegal. Again, if the courts actually upheld this, guns, vaccination status, whether you use certain words that the government allows you to use, all of these things, if this were ruled to be constitutional, any otherwise constitutional bill or law could be enforced in this way. You can either be heroes or villains in this. I hope that you choose to be heroes. And being hero means rescinding the letter that you wrote to Attorney General Moody and putting this bill in the trash where it belongs. Thank you.
We cannot have any of that in chambers, please. No clapping. Next is Tracy Lipton, and then Kate Dehenny. Been this before. Smits?
Mr. Cohen, you're a hard act to follow.